It was one of those gray afternoons when the sky looked like it had given up on sunshine. Rain tapped softly against the restaurant's tall glass windows, while Maya wiped down tables for the 5th time that day. She was a black waitress, 24, sharp-eyed, and quietly ambitious. Her hands smelled like coffee and sanitizer, but her mind was full of movie scenes she dreamed to direct someday. The restaurant buzzed with laughter and the clinking of wine glasses. Then the doors opened, and in walked a group of men in expensive suits. At the center was Mr. Donovan, a millionaire producer known for his arrogance. He had that kind of confidence that filled the room, the kind that made people either fear him or flatter him. When Maya approached their table with a polite smile, Donovan barely looked at her. But then, something caught his eye, a small film script sticking out her apron pocket. "What's this?" he said mockingly, pulling it out before she could react. "You a writer or something?" His friends laughed as he flipped through her scribbled notes. Maya felt her cheeks burn, but she stood straight. "I'm studying film directing. I write short scenes for practice," she said quietly. Donovan chuckled, shaking his head. "A waitress who wants to be a director? That's cute." Then, with a smug grin, he pulled out a folded paper from his briefcase and tossed it on the table in front of her. "Tell you what," he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Translate this. It's in another language. Do that, and I'll make you director." The men at the table burst into laughter, raising their glasses like it was a toast to her humiliation. Maya looked at the paper. Lines of strange symbols and foreign text filled the page. She didn't recognize it at first, but something about it made her heart race. She forced a polite smile, picked up the paper, and quietly said, "Challenge accepted." Donovan smirked and waved her off like she was invisible again. But behind her calm eyes, a fire had started burning. She didn't know what that paper truly was, but she was about to find out. That night, the rain hadn't stopped. It fell harder, louder, like the sky itself was restless. Just like Maya, she sat on her tiny bed. The crumpled paper Donovan gave her lying under the glow of her desk lamp. Her uniform still smelled like the restaurant. Her feet ached. Her eyes were heavy, but her mind wouldn't let her rest. She unfolded the paper again. It wasn't just foreign words. There were strange symbols, random letters, and what looked like film scene numbers. Scene 24A, one line said. Another mentioned, INT, cafe night. Her eyes widened. These weren't random at all. This was a script. But the format was unlike any she had seen before, like it had been translated, then scrambled. She opened her old laptop, the one that overheated after 10 minutes, and began typing the words into an online translator. Nothing made sense. French? No. Spanish? Not really. Then, after a few tries, something clicked. It was partially in Polish. Maya frowned. She remembered subtitling a Polish indie film a few months ago at her side job. That's when the patterns started to make sense. One by one, she began piecing the lines together, translating them slowly. Every sentence formed parts of a story, a film scene about a man who steals another's work, a thief in disguise. She froze. "No way," she whispered. Could this be part of a stolen script? She grabbed her phone and searched the phrases she translated. Her heart skipped. The same lines appeared in online leaks about an unreleased European film, one that had mysteriously gone missing from production last year. She leaned back, shocked. Mr. Donovan wasn't challenging her. He was testing if she'd recognized something he shouldn't have had. He thought she was just a waitress. But now, she had proof that a millionaire producer was sitting on stolen material. Her chest pounded as she whispered, "He has no idea I know this." The rain outside grew heavier, almost echoing her heartbeat. Maya shut her laptop and stared at the paper one last time. Should she confront him or play along a little longer? The next morning, sunlight broke through the clouds, but Maya barely noticed. She hadn't slept. Her mind had been spinning all night. Her heart told her to be careful, but her pride whispered louder, "Don't let him win." When she arrived at the restaurant, the same group of rich men sat at their favorite corner. Their loud voices filled the air again, but this time Maya felt different. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was holding something powerful, the truth. She took a deep breath, walked toward her table, and placed a clean cup of coffee in front of Mr. Donovan. "Morning," she said politely. "About your little challenge." He looked up, smirking. "Oh, the translation thing? Did you manage to spell your own name at least?" His friends chuckled. Without a word, Maya slid the folded paper across the table, now marked with her careful translations and notes. Donovan grabbed it lazily, still smiling. But as his eyes moved down the page, his expression began to change. His laughter stopped. His smile faded. He read faster, eyes darting, sweat forming on his forehead. How did you translate this?" he muttered. Maya's voice was calm. "I used to work for a subtitling company. I've seen hundreds of international scripts, including this one." The table went silent. The investors exchanged confused glances. This script isn't public," Donovan stammered, folding the paper quickly. "You must be mistaken." "No," Maya said softly but firmly. "This belongs to a Polish director named Tomasz Laska. His movie was stolen before release. The dialogue patterns are identical. You just change the character names." Donovan's face turned pale. For the first time, he didn't have a comeback. He just stared at her, searching for words. Maya gave a faint smile. "You told me to translate it, right?" "I did. And now I understand what kind of man you are." Donovan leaned back, his voice low. "You have no idea what you're talking about." But she did. She had more than an idea. She had evidence. And now, the power had quietly shifted to her hands. As she walked away, his words echoed faintly behind her. "You'll regret this." Maybe she would. Or maybe he would. That night, Maya sat in her small apartment, staring at the glowing computer screen. The dim light flickered as she replayed every moment at the restaurant. Donovan's pale face, his shaking hands, the fear in his eyes, it all confirmed what she already knew. She wasn't wrong. The script was stolen. She opened the folder she had secretly copied earlier. Before returning the paper, she had photographed every page with her phone. Now, zooming in on the blurry images, she noticed something she hadn't seen before, a signature watermark faintly visible in the corner. Property of Tomasz Laska Productions. Her pulse quickened. She'd heard of Tomasz before, a respected Polish director whose unfinished film, The Silent Room, had been shelved after the screenplay mysteriously leaked. Everyone had assumed the script was lost forever. But here it was, in Donovan's hands. Maya sat frozen for a moment. Then she whispered, "He's been stealing someone else's dream, just like people try to steal mine." She opened her email and searched for an old contact from her subtitling job. A man named Pyotr, who had once mentioned working for Laska. It was a long shot, but she typed fast, her hands trembling. "Hello, Pyotr. This is Maya from Langsub. I found something you should see. It might belong to Tomasz Laska. Please forward this to him. Urgent." She attached the photos and hit send before her courage faded. The clock ticked past midnight. Outside, the city slept, but Maya couldn't. What if Donovan found out she sent the evidence? What if this backfired? She could lose her job or worse. But her conscience wouldn't let her stay silent. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. A new email. It was from Pyotr. "Maya, thank you. Tomasz will contact you directly. You did the right thing." Her heart pounded. She closed her eyes and exhaled shakily. She had no idea what would happen next, but for the first time in a long while, she felt proud of herself. Somewhere miles away, a famous director had just received proof that his stolen work still existed, all thanks to a waitress who refused to be silent. But what would happen when Donovan discovered her secret email? Hashtag Chapter 5. The waitress who silenced a millionaire. A week later, the whole city was buzzing. Maya was back at the restaurant, balancing trays like usual, but something in the air felt electric. She noticed customers whispering, their eyes glued to their phones. Even her manager kept sneaking glances at the TV over the bar. Then she saw it. The breaking news headline glowing across the screen. Director Tomasz Laska exposes Hollywood producer for script theft. Below it, a picture of Mr. Donovan appeared, hand covering his face as reporters crowded around him. Maya froze. Her heart raced. It was real. The report detailed everything. How an anonymous whistleblower had sent proof that Donovan stole the screenplay of The Silent Room and tried to rebrand it as his own film. Investors had pulled out overnight, and Donovan's company stock had crashed. Social media was filled with outrage, memes, and public statements demanding justice. Maya stepped into the break room, hands trembling, and took a deep breath. She had done this. The girl who served coffee and cleaned up after rich men had just brought down a millionaire. But she didn't feel pride right away, just a strange, quiet calm. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Is this Maya?" A warm voice said with a light accent. "This is Tomasz Laska." Her breath caught. Yes, sir, this is Maya." "I wanted to thank you," he said. "You saw what others ignored. You protected something that mattered to me deeply. I owe you my film, and maybe more." He paused and added with a soft laugh, "Tell me, Maya, do you still want to direct?" She blinked, speechless. I do. More than anything." "Good," Tomasz said, "because I think you just prove you're ready. My next project starts next month. I'd like you on the team as an assistant director, for now. You'll learn fast." Tears filled her eyes. She whispered, "Thank you. I won't let you down." As the call ended, Maya sat there smiling through her tears. She remembered Donovan's cruel laughter. Asterisk, translate this and you'll be a director. Asterisk, he meant it as a joke. But life had a funny way of keeping receipts. That day, Maya walked out of the restaurant for the last time. Not as a waitress, but as the woman who turned humiliation into destiny. Sometimes, the quietest person in the room tells the loudest story.